Hi everyone, my name is Michelle Obrien. I am an accredited and practicing fitness and nutrition coach, a chronic disease management educator, and owner of Obrien Fitness. Obrien Fitness is a local to Winnipeg and global health and wellness company that prides itself in helping our clients live their best life. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank Flair Airline for having me a part of their Uplift initiative. I think that it is truly important that at this unprecedented time in our lives that we are taking extra good care of our physical and mental well-being. So I invite you to come along with me and learn all about nutrition in quarantine. So here I'm going to take you guys through some non-perishable or freezer-friendly protein sources that are really low in saturated fat and they are heart healthy. So the first thing, this is actually a vegan protein source. This is nutritional yeast flakes. You can just keep this in your pantry and it kind of tastes a little bit like Parmesan cheese. Check out the protein in there. There's 8 grams of protein per quarter of a cup. So that's always a great option. Another vegan source, actually, just because we're on the same topic, these are called French Pie Lentils. They're a little bit different than regular lentils as they actually have twice the amount of protein in them and fiber as regular lentils. So they're also actually quite low in carbohydrates if you're watching your carbs. Another source I love is lupini beans. I make hummus out of this. I also add it to salads. Check out that protein, 22 grams of protein per half cup. And look at the fiber, 13 grams of fiber, 14 carbs for a net total of 1 carb. Okay, another vegan source that's really good is this organic edamame spaghetti, 21 grams of protein per 50 gram serving. So these are all really great for pantry staples. Some other things, if you aren't vegan, okay, super lean is flake like tuna. If you like salmon, if you like mackerel, you could also get those sources. Mackerel is actually a really good source of healthy fats and omega-3s. But here I've got some flake like tuna. Now we've got some egg whites. Egg whites are really, really great, freezer friendly, a great staple around our house. And grated cheese. This is the light grated cheese. Just to let you know, as long as your cheese is grated, you can actually freeze it. So if you're thinking that it'll spoil, it actually won't. And this is also great to add onto salads, to put onto some high fiber crackers and so on. I get my clients actually to use this a lot on the high fiber pizzas that we make. And then finally, obviously you saw me make that protein shake. So this is the protein powder that I used. Protein powder is obviously shelf stable and it's also a great source of protein. So these are protein sources that are really easy on the waistline and they won't go bad because you can either keep them in the pantry or freeze them. Now let's talk about fruits and vegetables. I've got a ton of frozen fruits and vegetables here. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that there's this general misconception that fresh is best. But I'm going to let you in on something. It's actually frozen is best. Frozen fruits and vegetables are picked at their peak ripeness and then flash frozen right away. So the nutrient density in frozen fruits and vegetables is actually a lot higher. And when you think of the transit time that it takes to get from the field to the truck, to the warehouse to be sorted, and then to another truck, and then to a housing warehouse, and then by the time it actually reaches your supermarket and sits outside under the lights, those nutrients and those vitamins and minerals have actually been leached. So I always tell my clients, you know what? Buy frozen. Also, you don't have to worry about spoilage, right? How many times have we bought a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables with the good intentions of using them and all of a sudden they've gone bad? So just to give you an idea of what I do with these fruits and vegetables, I've got some whole strawberries here. These are frozen. I've got some mixed berries. Berries have the highest amount of fiber of any vegetable. So any of my clients that are trying to lose weight, or if they have diabetes and they're trying to manage their blood sugars, I always say that berries are best. There's a lot of things that you can do with berries. They're actually also the highest in fiber. So if you're working on getting enough fiber in your diet, berries are your best choice. And you can do anything from like putting them into oatmeal. You could put them into smoothies. You can make jam out of them. I've got a lot of different recipes for different ways that you can incorporate these awesome frozen fruit. And then of course I've got some frozen vegetables. Now you notice here, I've got these spinach nuggets. These are fantastic for throwing into smoothies. A lot of times people put lots of ice, but unfortunately the ice is like water and it will water down your smoothie. However, you can add in these guys to your smoothie and you're gonna be getting a lot of those antioxidants. You're getting lots of obviously vegetables in there as well, and it's acting like your ice cubes. And also here, I've got some frozen broccoli. I actually love to make broccoli cheese soup with frozen broccoli. So all I do is I put it in a microwave, I steam it, I throw it in a Ninja Bullet blender, I put in a little bit of plant-based milk, some nutritional yeast, and I throw in some cottage cheese for some protein and whip it all together. You will have the creamiest broccoli cheese soup, and then of course you can throw some grated cheese on top, but there you go. So you've got the peak nutrient density of the broccoli and it's not going to go bad, and you've got some great soup. Here I've got some avocado chunks. How many times have we bought fresh avocados only to open it up and it's bad? You know, it's raw, it's super hard, and literally in the minute of the span of 2 hours, it's just gone bad. So I like to actually buy avocado chunks frozen. Again, they have the peak nutrients, okay, because they're flash frozen. Also, all you have to do is take out the amount that you need, thaw it at room temperature, and make yourself some awesome guacamole. I also wanted to talk about fresh fruit and how to prevent it from going spoiled too quickly. Now in here I have a bunch of cucumbers. This is fresh cucumbers chopped up, and these are the traditional English style cucumbers that are usually wrapped in plastic. And what I do is the minute I get home with them, I take off the plastic, I peel them, and then I slice them up. These will last 4 times as long in your fridge than if you kept them in the wrapper. If you keep them in the wrapper, they're not breathing basically, and they're gonna go bad. They're gonna go really mushy and soggy. So this is a great way to be able to basically prolong the life of your cucumbers, so again, that you don't waste them. So again, guys, you know, we are in a quarantine time, and I think that quarantine or not, frozen vegetables are the way to go. So I don't know about you guys, but all this talk about food has got me pretty hungry. Come along with me and I'm gonna whip up my absolute favorite chocolate peanut butter protein shake. If you are Canadian and you know Wendy's and you remember Wendy's Frosty, this is exactly what it tastes like, but a chocolate peanut butter Wendy's Frosty. Come along. All right, guys, so this is what you're gonna need to make the creamiest, richest chocolate peanut butter protein shake. You are going to need 1 cup of unsweetened cashew milk. I've already got it in my blender cup here. 1 scoop of chocolate peanut butter whey isolate. You could also use just chocolate. 2 tablespoons of powdered peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, and 1 frozen banana. It has to be frozen. I'm going to whip this all together and show you the finished product. And this is the finished product. Look at how thick and creamy that is. So if you want to make it a lot icier, you could always add a little bit more ice, but check that out. Does that not look like the most delicious treat? Enjoy, guys. I think that it is really important during these times that we make an extra effort to honor our intentions to look and feel our best. It is so easy to get caught up in buying junk food and comfort food and ordering out a lot because we're feeding our emotions. Now, one thing that I work on with my clients is that emotional eating and turning to comfort food is very temporary, that the relief that you're going to get is very temporary, but the calories that you consume in excess are permanent. One thing to keep in mind is that our NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, has actually gone down. And NEAT is actually a part of our metabolism. So it is all these movements that we do on a day-to-day basis that isn't really structured exercise. So maybe you stand a lot at work. Maybe you go up and down flights of stairs in a building. Those are also movements that are burning calories. And now that a lot of people are at home or perhaps not working, generally we're just not burning as many calories, so we need less calories. I know what you're thinking. At a time where everybody is so stressed out and now she wants us to eat less. Well, I have some inspiration for you. If you follow me on Instagram, my handle is @Obrien.fitness. That's OBRIEN.fitness. I continually post lots of recipes, what I eat during the day, what my clients are having, just to give you guys some ideas. And all of my recipes are high in fiber, high in protein, and low in fat. Oh, and easy on the waistline. The next topic that I wanted to hit on today was on stress, and not particularly just stress in and of itself, but stress management, because a lot of times in life, whether it's a pandemic or not, we have stress in our lives, and sometimes we can't get rid of the stress, but we can learn how to manage it and how we react to it better. Whenever I do stress management talks and presentations to my corporate wellness clients, I always talk about how what resonates with us on a cognitive level actually affects us on a physical level. And so in many ways, stress is very much a silent killer. And what I mean by that is because if we're not managing our stress, and sort of this is just an aside here, that we actually cannot measure stress, right? We can measure how many calories we're consuming. We can measure how many calories we're burning. We can measure our blood pressure, our waistlines, how much body weight we weigh, what our cholesterol looks like. But how do you put a number to stress? And the thing is, stress manifests itself in people differently. You know, what I might not find very stressful, someone else might find very stressful. And the reverse, something that I might find very stressful, somebody else might not think it's a big deal. So if we can't put a number to the stress that we're under, we need to recognize that the feelings that you're getting of fear, of anxiety, of a lack of control needs to be addressed, else it's going to start affecting you physically. So some undesirable side effects that stress is going to produce on you physically are in things like increasing your blood pressure, increasing cholesterol, increasing inflammation in the body, increasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which are fat-storing hormones. So inadvertently, when you're not dealing with stress, it's affecting you in other ways. You know, and the thing of it is, what we all need to understand is that people now that are in quarantine or in self-isolation have a higher risk of developing anxiety and depression. Or if they already have anxiety and depression, if they're not managing their symptoms, they're only going to get worse. So we know that we may not be able to get rid of stress, but we can manage it better. So how do you manage stress? Well, the first thing that I tell my clients is they have to get outside. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be, go for a run or go for a bike ride. They just need to get outside and get fresh air and vitamin D. Studies have shown that people who get outside daily and become one with nature, so going for a hike, going for a walk, whatever that is, they live longer lives. Obviously, if you're going to go outside, you want to make sure that it's safe to do so. Make sure that there are no restrictions in your area that will prevent you from being outside. You know, go for a walk. Take your dog for a walk. Go for a run if your activity level will allow you to do that. Even if you have a balcony and are in a condo or an apartment, get outside, sit outside on that balcony, enjoy the fresh air, and I guarantee you, you will feel so much better that you did. Another great way to manage your stress is to control how much you expose yourself to media. So whether it is the news, whether it is what you are seeing on social media, and I mean, we can speak to not just quarantine, but we can speak to all kinds of ways that we expose ourselves as human beings in this digital world. You know, if you're an individual who tends to have the TV on in the background, perhaps don't keep it on the news or keep it on those channels where, you know, all they're doing is talking about COVID-19, they're talking about what's going on, because when you're constantly bombarded with negativity, it's going to start to affect your mental health. Another thing that's really important is to make sure that you are staying in touch with friends and family. Now, obviously, we all have to physically distance ourselves to protect ourselves and others, but that doesn't mean that you have to socially stop yourself from interacting with people. So obviously in our digital world, we have things like FaceTime, Skype, Zoom calls. You know, get creative with the way that you still stay in contact with those that you love, especially if you need somebody to talk to. Make sure that you're still reaching out and also checking on your loved ones. And finally, it's really important to try and find the silver lining in all of this. Now, what do I mean by silver lining? So, what do I mean by silver lining? Well, whenever things get really messy, and let's face it, things are a bit messy right now, I always say, find the message in the mess. So, example, all right, we are all home a lot more than we normally are. And how many times do you find yourselves throughout the year saying to yourself, I wish I had at least a week or an extra day or just some time off where I could just get X, Y, and Z done. I've got all this stuff around the house that I need to go through. I've got this I need to organize. Okay, you see where I'm coming from? So now all of a sudden, you do have that time. So take advantage of it. You know, so maybe you've been meaning to clean out your closet and create some donation bins and getting rid of the old to hopefully make room for the new. Okay, so that's an example. Maybe there is a whole bunch of photos that you have to go through on your phone and organize them. That would be another example. So make the most of this time. You know, create yourself a checklist every single day and check off everything that you want to accomplish in that day. You know, when you make a checklist and you check things off, you are going to feel more productive and empowered than feeling like a prisoner in your own house. And finally, I'm gonna leave you with one more health and wellness tip, is to make sure that you do have structure in your day. So if you're not working, pretend like as if you are. So this starts with your bedtime and your wake schedule. Make sure that you're going to bed at the same time that you normally would if you were working just a usual day. And then obviously when morning comes around, you're waking up at the same time that you normally would every single day. So when it comes time to going back to work, you are already in that natural circadian rhythm to do it. And then of course, building on that is to get dressed. Now, obviously, if you wear a work uniform to work, you may not want to have to put the work uniform on. Or if you wear, a skirt and blazer and heels, chances are you probably don't want to be walking around your house like that. But what I'm saying is get out of your pajamas, get out of your robe, and do not put on sweatpants. That does not constitute as getting dressed. By making sure that you're getting dressed, you are showing up for the day and you are automatically going to be more productive. And I'll tell ya, stretchy pants, sweatpants, they are dangerous because you can't really tell if you are gaining weight. And you do not want to come out of this pandemic larger than when you went into it, right? You want to be able to go back into your uniform if you wear a uniform and be able to button everything up, right? So I'm not saying, don't let loose and relax every once in a while, but during the day, put on more structured fitted pants, whether it's jeans, whatever, but make sure that you're keeping your waistline in check. So there you have it, some health and wellness tips to hopefully uplift you during this unprecedented time. Here at O'Brien Fitness, my clients and I have decided to use this time of incubation, this time of quarantine, to really go inward and focus on our health. We want to come out of this quarantine being better versions of ourselves than when we went in. So again, my name is Michelle Obrien. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram at o'brien.fitness. You can contact me through my website at o'brienfitness.net, and I would happy to be here all about how you are making the best of your quarantine health and wellness.